Hi, welcome to Julius Bar. Today we're gonna mix a cardamom and banana Vieux Carré. So a cardamom and banana Vieux Carré is exactly what the name says. It's a variation on the Vieux Carré, the classic cocktail from New Orleans, featuring rye whiskey and cognac, but with the addition of banana and cardamom. The cocktail was created in 2020 by Anthony Auger in North Carolina, and let's get down to mixing. Compared to the original recipe, I'm just gonna do one major adjustment, which is to use real cardamom instead of using cardamom bitters and cardamom sugar. So I will say that we need only about half pod of cardamom for one cocktail. So what I'm gonna do today, actually, to make everything easier, I'm just gonna mix two portions, and I'm gonna save up the other portion of my cardamom banana Vieux Carré for me later, or maybe my wife, she would like to try it. So let's just press and crush a bit the cardamom in our mixing glass. I think that's about enough. And then the other variation I'm gonna do is to add more banana liqueur. The original recipe says 7.5 milliliters or a quarter of an ounce. I'm gonna up it to 12.5 milliliters. And as I'm mixing too, I'm gonna do just slightly below 30 milliliters of crème de banane or banana liqueur. I was forgetting about angostura. Yeah, we are gonna need angostura too. And that we are gonna need two dishes. So in this case 4, 2, 3, 4. And then we're gonna have equal parts of cognac, 22.5 milliliter or 3/4 of an ounce. That's gonna be 1.5 ounces for two person, or 45 milliliters. I'm using Hennessy. I try to use the cheaper Japanese brandy, and that didn't work out. You could taste the cheapness. I thought maybe the cheap brandy is gonna work anyway because we have the rye whiskey to cover it up, but no. You need a decent cognac, even though it's still on the cheaper side. And we finish with Bottle & Bond rye whiskey, Rittenhouse, again 22.5 milliliter or 3/4 of an ounce per person, per portion. And so I'm gonna pour 45 milliliter to make two. Let's get some ice, and let's give this bad boy a good stir. We just want it a bit diluted and slightly chilled, but we are gonna pour it over ice, so we don't have to go all the way with the dilution. We can stop after maybe now. Let's see. Yeah, I always like to give a couple more stirs, but I think this should be okay. And let me just measure how much cocktail we have so I can divide it perfectly in two. And I'm gonna strain it using a finer strainer than usual to be sure to not have any cardamom powder passing through. So we got about 150 milliliters of cocktail. I'm gonna save 75 for later. I'm gonna prepare a big rock of ice here in my tumbler, and I'm gonna pour my cocktail over it. let's make the ice settle at the bottom of the glass. There you go. And as a decoration, let's just use a banana chip. Super fancy decoration today. This one there on top of the ice cube. And there you go, a cardamom and banana Vieux Carré, which I think I'm just gonna call a Cardanana Vieux Carré. Slight return, like Voodoo Child. The Jimi Hendrix song, as it's slightly different than the original version. And cheers. Nice, nicely spicy. You get the sweetness from the banana liqueur. And nice freshness spice from the cardamom. I always like that. And the rest of it is tastes like a Vieux Carré, which is good in my book. This is a good cocktail, it's a good variation. And I think you need both banana and cardamom to complement each other. Otherwise, cardamom alone would be just spicy and banana would be just sweet. These give a nice array of flavors. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. Share with anybody you like and don't like. Mix yourself a Vieux Carré or a Vieux Carré variation. Or another New Orleans drink. And hopefully I will see you next time. Cheers! So, connecting to Voodoo Child slight return and talking about Jimi Hendrix, I must say I was really curious about Jimi Hendrix when I was a teenager, just because I always heard he was the best guitarist ever, but I never ever heard his music. So one time in, I think, 93, 94, a compilation with all the best songs by Jimi Hendrix came out, and it got a 5 stars review in my favorite magazine. So I went to the music store in Crema, which you might know from Call Me By Your Name, that town where I went to school in high school. But the same month also came out Alice in Chains Dirt, and also I never heard anything by Alice in Chains. I knew a few things I read on the magazine. They were from Seattle, just like Jimi Hendrix, but also like Nirvana. And that album, Dirt, also got a 5 stars review. And they were saying it was more metal than other stuff like Nirvana. But at the time I really didn't quite like. It wasn't quite my cup of tea. So I was really curious. What's the deal with Alice in Chains? And I tried to ask the guy working at the music store. And you know how in movies so many times you have this really knowledgeable guy working the record store, he has opinions on everything, he's gonna know every band. And I asked him, so what's Alice in Chains? What kind of music they make? He says like, they are just like, I don't know, like weird. Was this comment? I was like, but like how? What do they do? Like, I don't know. Yeah, man, they are just weird. And I'm like, oh, okay, you're not really helping me out here. And I had money only for 1 CD. So I ended up buying the Jimi Hendrix one, which was good and really good from a historical perspective, but it wasn't quite my genre, let's say. And somehow I really wish I bought Alice in Chains Dirt, because that became one of my favorite albums of all time. That was so good. In the end, I ended up listening to Alice in Chains Dirt maybe a year or two later when somebody passed it, recorded it to me on a tape, and I was enamored. That's an awesome album. All this to tell you that record store guy, sometimes they don't know anything.